Okay, well, did I skip over it? Where did Oh no, he's just had such a short career that I just totally. He just hasn't been in the league that long. So this season, he's shooting almost 9 free throws a game. So in order to shoot 9, you're essentially getting fouled 5 times. In my mind, in my head, right? And I guess that doesn't really count for N1s and stuff like that. So if you assume he gets 3 fouls, right, where he doesn't make it, that's 6 free throws. So you're saying anywhere from like 5 to 7-ish fouls a game he's probably drawing. In my mind, and through 4 quarters, that's not really crazy, right? For your star player, for the dude who's averaging 33, like, and I know people are gonna again bring up the free throws, but even if you take away his free throws, right? Like he's shooting 9, almost 9, and he's making 8. I mean, great percentage. Obviously, he's shooting over 90. He's shooting just barely over 90% from the free throw line. But you take away his 8 points, so he goes from essentially 33 to 25. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he's still averaging 25 off just layups, middies, threes, and stuff like that. I don't know how you argue that he's just a free throw merchant. And I think the other thing is where, like, if you're not going to give him props for being 16 games ahead against the next team in his conference, right? And again, he's 3 wins ahead against the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So it's not like he's just the number 1 seed in the West, which they were just for a good portion of the season. But now at this point, he can say, okay, we are the best team in the NBA. I'm the best player on the best team. I'm averaging 33, 5, and 6. What do I got to do to win an MVP? Because I mean, I essentially did this same thing last year. Last year, he averaged 30, 6 and 5.5 rebounds. So it's like, what does he got to do to do it? So it's like, if he gotta sell some fouls and shoot some more free throws and get that average up to 33, 34 just to win MVP, I don't see anything wrong with that. And just because, what else are you gonna do? What else are you really gonna do at that point? Like, what else, if you're Shea, can you do? Like I said, Jokic on his first MVP.
Did you catch this?
What the? Nope. I don't want to hear about superstar LeBron. Not right now. We can talk about LeBron later. So last year when Jokic won his first MVP, he averaged 26.4 points, 9 assists, and 12.4 rebounds. So he went up 0.4 rebounds. He went up 1.2 assists, and he went up about 3 points per game. Shea went up like 2 or 3 points a game, and I think that was it. So it's like they left so much room for Jokic to be able to win MVP. And what are the Nuggets? So the Nuggets right now have how many wins? They're 47 and 28. The Nuggets last year were 57 and 25. There's going to be almost, and obviously the Nuggets still have time to win a few more games and get to that 50 wins, but it's just like they're not going to win the same amount of games they did last year. So for him to lose more games, yes, his team's worse. Arguably a little worse. I don't know if they even made any changes from last year. I'm sure they did. Probably 1 or 2 guys probably switched from their team, but I can't think off the top of my head who switched from last year. But you gave him so much room from a statistical point to win, and if you're not going to take his wins into consideration, this is again just why the NBA needs to come out every year, not even every year, but to come out at some point in the next few years and say, this is the criteria. This is what we're looking for MVP. This is what we're looking for all NBA, all that kind of stuff. There needs to be criteria, or else what are we doing? Or else everyone's got a different opinion. And if everybody has a different opinion, if I'm looking at it from one perspective, and the next person looks at it from a second perspective, and the third person looks at it from a third perspective. How, if we all start off with a different foundation, how are we supposed to come to a conclusion? Right? So, but with criteria, if the NBA comes out and says, Adam Silver says, we're looking for at least 3 super broad things, right, for MVP. Your team got to have 50 wins. Cool. That's so broad that as long as, I don't know how many teams would actually be able to, how many guys would actually be in the running for MVP at that rate, right? Like, so how many 50-win teams do we have in the NBA right now? We got 1, 2, Cleveland, Boston, and then Oklahoma City, and then Houston, Denver still have time. Technically, the Lakers still have time to be a 50-win team. New York could still be a 50-win team. So as of right now, there's only 3 50-plus win teams, and even then, it's 56-plus win, 3 56-plus win teams. But towards the end of the season, we might have a couple more, but there's only 3 teams. So like, if you were to choose MVP right now, just off 50 wins, you can only choose it from 3 teams. So it'd be between Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, or Jason Brown, or Jaylen Brown, depending on what you think, and then Shea. Those would essentially be your MVP candidates right now if you just did it just like that. And I'm not saying that has to be one of the criterias, right? But I'm saying the NBA should come out with something where we can say, okay, does he check off this box? Yes. Okay, cool. He's in the conversation for MVP. No, he doesn't. Okay, well, he can't be in the conversation anymore, right? Simple. But we don't have that. And again, it'd be too easy if we did have that. But other news, my Phoenix Suns are trash. It's so sad. I moved to Indiana, and that's where I started doing a lot of my full-time videos, right? That's actually where I started BigRed Weekly, was in Indiana and everything like that. But, so that was the year. So I moved there at the end of 2020, and so I was there for all of 2021, and then for a little bit of 2022. That was the year. 2021 was obviously the year that Milwaukee beat the Suns in the playoffs, or not even in the playoffs, but in the finals. And I really thought coming back to Phoenix, right, that, we're off a finals run. We're going to go back, or at least, Western Conference Finals at the very least. That next season, we proceeded to lose by, 50 to the Mavericks? Like a Game 7. That hurt. I won't lie, that hurt. So as of right now, the Suns, my Phoenix Suns, are 35-40. We are not even 500. We are not even a 500 team. We have 8 games left. It is possible for us to become a 500 team. It's possible for us to be in the play-in, but I don't have any hope for this Suns team at this point. You don't have guys that, I don't want to say that don't care, right? Because I don't know. That's not the way to say it. It's not that they don't care, but I don't feel like there's anybody who's willing to who's willing to put all on the line. You know what I mean? And I think that was one of the things that really always drew me to Russell Westbrook, right? Even though Russell Westbrook would make a lot of bad decisions, you could never doubt that he wanted to win. And even if he would throw a bad pass or take a bad shot, you knew at the end of the day, he wants to win. He was going to put 1,000% effort into this basketball game. I think just mentalities like that are kind of what you're missing. And I wish we kind of had somebody like that on the Suns, right? Even someone like, Chris Paul, while I don't think Chris Paul fits that entirely, Chris Paul is a winner, and he's a great leader, and he knows how to put guys in positions to be successful. He's like a coach on the floor, right? And I think, honestly, if he tries to pursue coaching, an NBA coaching job, after his, once he retires, I think he'll do very well in it because he's just that kind of guy. and he's very, from the stories that I've seen, because obviously I don't know him. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about Chris Paul like I know him. I only know what everybody else sees, what people see, what people hear. That's all I know as well. So, but from what I've heard about Chris Paul, like he's very he's annoying, but he's annoying in a way that he cares. So like he's not like if he bitches at you, right? It's not because he's trying to he's not just trying to be a little bitch. Like he's bitching at you because he wants you to be better. He's trying to challenge you and he wants you to challenge him back and make each other better. So in that way, like I think that was one of the main reasons why Phoenix was so successful at the time. And I think right now with Devin Booker as our leader, again, I don't get that, willing to risk everything kind of guy. And I don't know Bradley Beal's not that kind of guy. Kevin Durant's not really that kind of guy unless that energy is around him, then he kind of starts. Or the only time that I've really ever seen Kevin Durant really like not care, and again, this could just be recency, but it was in Brooklyn. It was that series against the Bucks, where if his toe hadn't been on the line, they'd have been advancing instead of the Bucks. And, 2021. That was 2021. So that might have been a better matchup for the Suns for us if Brooklyn would have went through instead of the Bucks, but is what it is at this point. But I just don't think there's not that kind of mentality on the Suns, and until we do, I think we're gonna just be trash. I think Kevin Durant's probably gonna leave at the end of the season. I could see Devin Booker asking for out. Where would he go? I don't know at this point. And then at that point, I think the Suns don't really have any crazy picks. We have a couple of younger guys, but our future's not looking very good at this point. So we're gonna be that Detroit, the Charlotte. We're gonna be Philly, like I was saying back in that Nerlens Noel 13 win Philly teams. The trust in the process. Those teams. I don't know what to say about it all. But I think that'll probably be where I wrap everything up. I will try and get more topics every day that we're doing it, or as I'm doing this and getting back into it. My speech is obviously going to get a little better. I haven't talked to a camera like this in a long time, so this is all just new for me. Again, I will try and do longer episodes because I think my camera says 34 minutes, but I had a couple minutes of testing and trying to get my speech right, talking to the camera, talking to the mirror, having to talk back to myself. But I will try and get a few more topics. I talked about MVP, talked about the playoffs. Okay, who do I think is going to make who do I think is going to make the finals at this point? I think it's hard to argue against anybody. It's hard to argue against the Celtics in the East. There's something about the Cavs. I feel like the Cavs could do it, but I think that there's just so much talent on the Celtics, and I think in any other year, right? Any other year, the Cavs would do really well, and I think could almost run through the East. This version of the Cavs, right? This 60-15 win right now, and possibly, there's a team that could possibly get to 65 wins, right? That team could run through the East in almost any of the other like past 5 or 6 seasons, I think. But there's the Celtics team, right? Where you have so much talent, where essentially your top 8 guys, and you're the guys just coming off the bench, guys 6, 7, and 8, right? They have arguments to be starters. They have arguments. So I just don't know how you bet against the Celtics at this point. Until they're beaten, reigning champs, I'm gonna roll with Celtics in the East. As far as the West, right? I'm not convinced on the Thunder. I don't have any good reasoning for that, but it's just one of those things where I think it's just because all their other pieces are, with the exception of Shea and who's one of the other main guys that brings their age up, right? Caruso, right? Like with the exception of a couple of them, right? Like they're all really young still, and I know everybody said that last year, but like you know, you don't just suddenly go from 22 to 23, and like that's not. I'm young at 22 and now I'm old at 23, right? Like that doesn't happen. You're young at 22 and you're young at 23. Like it that doesn't change. You do gain that year of experience. You get a whole nother year of basketball underneath your belt, but like you don't change. You're not just suddenly old, right? Like in a year. So I think the Thunder are still a year away. Because what Shea's only 26, so I mean he can still do this for the next 6 years. He could still average 32, 33 for 6 more seasons at least, right? Without barring any major injury. I got a wooden desk right here. Knock on wood. Barring any injury, right? Shea could do this till 33, 34. If he goes to 34, that's like 8 more seasons, right? Like so, and is he 26? I got his page up here on Basketball Reference. 20. Does it really not say? Oh yeah, 26. Yeah, 26. If he goes to 34, that's 8 more years of averaging 30. And he plays. If he would have started off his career quicker and averaging, like 20 off the gate and playing as much as he does, Shea is a guy that could have been in like the all-time scoring, conversations, just because if he's averaging 30 for that many seasons, right, like you kind of have to put him in conversations like that. But he started his career off too slow, so he's not in that conversation. But if he had started off a lot stronger, we'd have to have real conversations there. But Shea can do this for another 6 seasons at the least, 6 to 8 seasons. Chet's what? So he came in after a year. So Chet is probably 21 now. 21. He's been kind of here and there with injuries. Jalen Williams will be a year older. I think next year or the year after is probably going to be the year where the Thunder will really start making their deep playoff pushes. I think right now they're establishing themselves as a good team, as evident by their 63 wins. But next year I think is going to be when next year is I think going to be like how the Celtics were last year, where they're really good and then they started just proving it in the playoffs, and now it was a sweep after that. And then the fact that they had so much stuff happen during last summer, you kind of pissed them all off. Now they went ahead and won another 60 games, right? Like, I don't know. It's hard to stop that team. I don't know. I think in the West, I will probably choose definitely not the Suns. And so then I said I was out on the Thunder. I don't know. The West is so open that, again, depending on the version of Jimmy Butler that the Warriors get, Jimmy Butler could go all the way. Or the Warriors could go all the way. Jokic is kind of doing a one-man carry show over there. There's a world where Luka and LeBron could make the finals. Now, are they going to? No, I'm saying there is a world where their IQ can get them to the finals. I'm not high on the Rockets right now. I think, again, they're a little young. I think they're a season or two from really competing as well. I think Warriors. I don't want to be that guy, right? Because like if I choose Warriors or Lakers, I'm choosing Curry or LeBron, right? Like, and I feel like at this point in life, do I need to start going away from that? But it's just what I feel right now, right? Warriors or Lakers, right? I'm gonna go with Warriors or Lakers. But if the Thunder win it all, cool. I won't. I shouldn't say I won't be surprised. Not that I wouldn't be surprised, but that'd be really cool if the Thunder won. So I'll just leave it there. Warriors or Lakers for the West, and then unless Jokic just does something crazy, which He could. And then I'll run with the Celtics in the East for right now. So until the end of the season, I'll kind of roll with that. If something changes my mind until then, we'll kind of see, because again, a lot of this could change if someone gets injured, right? Like, again, I'm not even gonna say a name. Let's just knock on some more wood. If any major player gets injured from any of these top teams, that completely changes everything. So we kind of have to wait till the end of the season. Let's see what else happens, where these final teams end up, and I'll see. We'll talk again next time. It'll probably be in a couple days, and another day, something like that. I'll probably upload this either tonight or probably tomorrow morning. So appreciate everybody watching. Tune in next time. I'm Big Red. Have a good night.